Hey guys, I'm just going to be going over my top 10 Defender list pretty quickly. Obviously, like all lists like this, you don't have to agree with everything, but if you don't agree, please send your completed lists down below, just so I can kind of get an idea. But anyways, I have taken this info from different community members, different sources, though I think it's primarily mostly accurate. Also, please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. I feel weird saying that, but I'm trying to take this thing a bit more serious, so I feel like I kind of obligated to say that. Uh, my like to my subscribe to non-subscribed ratio is so atrociously bad that I just kind of want to make it a bit better. But anyways, let's hop right into it pretty quickly here, and hope you guys enjoy. Starting out the list with my top 10 placement, I have Isolde. Isolde is a very useful unit. She's an epic lord with an amazing lord skill. Gives shields to ally faction members. She's part of the best defensive faction in the game. And she has very useful ultimate, giving extra block to allies in range, including a little bit of damage reduction. She has a lot of utility with when she's blocking enemies. And also, her auto is really good, granting a shield to allies on our sides. And she's just overall really good shield synergy, and a very, very good lord. Number 9 is going to be Constance. So Constance is a bit of a weird one. She could be a little bit higher on the list, she could be a bit lower, depends on your opinion on her, but she's very good. She's kind of comparable to like a ground Dolores, which already makes her very good. She has one of 2 units that have inspiration. 3 once Pharisee comes out, but Pharisee doesn't really have a good invigoration effect. Inspiration is very good, giving extra damage to allies. She also heals very well. She's a very effective healer, especially for a tank, and provides a lot of utility. She's really good in the first and the third Infernal Codex stages, and anywhere where you would want to alternate inspiration buffs, or just use her for the inspiration. She has a reduced cost in arena, and overall is just a really amazing unit to have, but I think certain things later outclass her a little bit. Number 8 on my list is Captain Reeve. Captain Reeve is kind of in a similar boat as Constance, as they are primarily the best in Conqueror stages and like just Infernal Codex, but Reeve also has a couple other uses. He has a really good ultimate for damage. He looks really cool. He has a lot of control in his kit, as you can see in his abilities. He's also very surprisingly tanky. He's really good in a couple areas of the game, and just very versatile of a unit. He's surprisingly tanky, does really good damage, and pretty good control. But the reason why I have him above Constance is because of the Sunken Treasure bond skill. 6% extra gold per battle when he's on the account, I think that's how it works, is really good. This is just such a nice thing to have. The only downside really is he doesn't really excel a ton in one area, and he's also an event exclusive hero, which kind of sucks. Our number 7 spot is going to be a bit of a curveball, and that unit, of course, is Cyrus. Cyrus is the new Esotericist Lord. He's very unique. He has insane range, looks very cool, and he is pretty good, and you could definitely have him a bit lower on the list, or higher, whatever. You can have him a bit later in the list, is what I mean. Anyways, he has the best summons in the game, which doesn't really mean a lot because most of the summoner characters in this game are complete garbage. But as you can see, he spawns skeleton fighters, and his skeleton fighters actually become kind of mini tanks for him. They tank his damage. As you can see here by his abilities, he has a couple ways to summon them in his kit, and it works really well with his Lord skill, because when they get defeated, it counts as an ally getting defeated, and he gains the damage bonus. He's also really good with Laurel and stuff like that, but Cyrus is really only like gonna excel if you have Boreas versus the things later on in this list, so I just have him a bit lower. But of course, I could see a case of him being a lot higher. Number 6 on my list is our first epic, and it's Baron. So Baron's really interesting. He's first of all very easy to get. He's very good for how little investment he needs, and he's so good until very late game. Well, maybe not very late game, but he's still really good until late game. He has a really strong and cheap shield on his ultimate, as you will see here in a second. He has unkillable as well, with his unyielding ability. His shield also is very large. Anyways, his unyielding ability is a very big highlight to his kit, keeping him alive even when he should be dead, which is very, very useful, very versatile in a lot of areas. And it really helps, and his awakenings even serve to make it even better. So, Baron for an epic needs a lot less investment than most characters, and it's very hard to come across legendary skill crystals and stuff like that. So I personally put him so high because of his limited investment turned into his utility. It just makes sense. He's just really good. For this legendary, I was very hesitant to put here. I wasn't sure if he should be a bit higher, a bit lower. It was kind of just an awkward pick, but it's King Harz. King Harz is my number 5 spot. He's the legendary lord of the best defensive faction in the game, which definitely gives him some bonus points, as you can see here, Northerner. He has a lot of shield synergy in his kit. His lord skill gives shields to all allies, and is one of 2 lords that gives it to every ally, regardless of faction. Other one being Renoma with their instant rage. He has a lot of kit synergy with shields. As you can see, he gets a lot of freezing. He gets a lot of damage mitigation and perks whenever he gets shielded. It's just all around pretty good. The only reason why I don't really have him higher is partially because there's more utility with the future mentions, and also because he needs a lot of skills, a lot of skill ups to be really good, and those are kind of hard to come by, and I personally value less investment a little bit. So he's only number 5. Just barely not making it into our top 3 spot, we have Torador. Torador is really cool. He's very versatile. He's the Nightmare Legendary Lord. He has some really cool abilities, including Instant Revival, Defense Breaker, and Control, as is listed there. His Instant Revival helps him be a bit tanky, although he is kind of a hybrid. His Lord skill is very good. 30% chance to have a second basic attack per basic attack. It's very good, especially for the Nightmare faction, since there's so many attacks being put out. He deals a lot of damage to multiple enemies, he revives, he has Defense Breaker. He's very versatile and definitely the best damage dealing tank in the game. At least maybe the best or the second best, depending on who you ask. But he's very good, although his cost is a little high, which is not ideal. But he definitely deserves to be in the top 4 spot. On the list could be swapped to number 2 or even 1, and that is Gon. So Gon is a bit of a weird one. He's very good. He scales off of defense for his damage. He has lower arena costs. His faction bonus, Lord skill or whatever, is very good for his faction. He has the most block in the game on his ultimate. It's all very good. He has a lot of utility. He does a decent amount of damage, decently tanky. He's very good. But the reason why I don't have him in the top 2 or the top 1 is purely because you need a lot to make him work at the highest potential. Because you need all of the really rare chaotic units that are so hard to get and are just so like uncommon, and none of us are ever going to be able to reach Gon's full potential. So because of that, since I do kind of consider accessibility and how much you're able to benefit from these characters into the equation, I don't have them higher. But if you have them higher because you consider a full account being the true benchmark for how strong these units are, then for sure he could be higher. But for my list, he's going to be number 3. Favoritism might throw a bit of weight here, but number 2 slot is Olag. So Olag is an epic. You might be surprised to see him so high, but he's part of the best defensive faction, and he's just so insane. He's free from Void Rift, around 40, 45, and he's very easy to skill up. He has really good abilities for tanking. He's so hard to kill. He has one of the best shields in the game. Every 11 seconds he gets an 85% shield, which is insane. And it's only strengthened by his awakening, which makes it so that it's 10% better. He has an average cost. And the reason why he's so high is, of course, because of accessibility. He'll last you until late game, until you have like, I mean, you'll use him in late game. He's that good. He's a beast. He's amazing. He's easy to get, easy to skill up, easy to awaken. He's worth it. He's a beast. Do not sleep on him. He might be an epic, but he's no slouch. That's for sure. Coming in on our first honorable mention is Regulus. Regulus could make the list, but I just valued Isolde's Lord skill a little bit over him. He has a pretty useful unyielding ability, which does last a pretty long time, but I feel like his kit and his faction just don't really work well enough to justify making the list. But of course, he could always have made it. He's pretty good. Undoubtedly, our number one slot is Brokir. We all knew it was going to be Brokir. Brokir is part of the best faction in the game. He's the tankiest unit in the game. He's so good in every tanky way that you would ever need a tank. He has great free synergy with his kit, as you can see with these abilities. He has an amazing ultimate, which has 120% of his max HP during the effect. And he gains freeze, which works well with the rest of his kit. He has unyielding for 12 seconds where he can't get hit at all. He just sits there like a block of ice. And he also has the best base stats I've ever seen on a tank. This is not for mortal eyes. These base stats are insane. Almost 30,000 HP and 4,000 defense. On the base stats, you can, with bad gear, get him 100,000, 120,000 HP. He's insane. You can get him 10,000 defense with mediocre gear. And he also doesn't need very many skill ups because he just doesn't take that many skill ups. He doesn't need investment to be good. That is why he's amazing. Anyways, that's about it for me. Hopefully this list at least made some sort of sense. It is a little bit of my opinion, so obviously you're not going to agree with anything. But once again, with everything, sorry. But once again, just leave your full list in the comments below if you would like. But yeah, that's about it for me. And I hope you all have a great day, night, whenever it is, where you are. And bye-bye.